What's up, guys? It's your boy, Matt Crypto. No tank on. We'll switch that right away during the break. Guys, $20 super chat. Nardo won for the win. Dr. Feeder for the win. Feed the feeder. Take my pulse feeder, whatever you want to call him. I just whenever someone says anything about where you're going to put your pulse, I'm like, I'm giving feeder all my money because we're all excited about the single-sided staking opportunities and having people that you actually know in one way, shape, or form. Like, what an opportunity, whether, you don't know them personally, but like someone who's active online, etc. Like, these are opportunities that people need to realize how early we are. We're all just like, this is new. Guys, I'll just go on a tangent. No tangents, okay? Guys, every single day at 11 a.m., I am live. Every single day, I am learning what is going on within that day, within that moment. What projects are going on? What am I learning about? What rug pulls are going on? Everything live. I'm not shilling projects that will eventually be exit scams. Okay? Well, I guess technically anything could be an exit scam at a high enough rate. But you know what I mean? There's a reason why I don't talk about Celsius all the time and tell people to buy it. There's a reason I don't talk about BlockFi and I don't have a 20% link. I'm sure I could make some money off that. I don't know the rates or anything, but there's a reason. I'm reputation first kind of guy. Always have been. I'd rather be broke and everyone say that's an honest guy because I can work with that. But now I know people that are getting death threats because they told people to put their Bitcoin into a centralized dictatorship with led them to death, led them to stray. Constantly will do it. And then right after it happens, they'll say, oh, we kind of told you to get out of that anyway. But that means if you were watching their stuff every single day for the last year, maybe you did. Anyway, we're not going to go down. What are we talking about today? The nerdiest possible things you could humanly talk about in this earth. And that is what we love on this show. Okay. That's why I do this show. I want to learn about this stuff. Nodes, decentralization, software, hardware. Where does it come together? Coding. How did all this stuff start? Who was the first ones to do it? Feeder is going to do single-sided staking servers. He's a server god. Okay? He's a server god. We know this. I don't think he's a dev. I think I'm assuming you're more in like the tech field, but I remember you telling someone you were not a developer. So remember, guys, David Feeder, feed the feeder. He took his time out of this day. He probably has family stuff going on to come on here and powwow with the boys. This is going to be a great episode. Make sure you like and share the content. Sam's chomping at the bit in the background. We got DeFi Proof ready for a live segment. Just kidding. Just an intro song, guys. Be back in 1 minute and 9 seconds. We're talking about nodes. We're talking about servers. We're talking about decentralization. What's possible? What's not possible? Fallacies, nuance. Guys, I need to learn. Okay? I'll see you in 1 minute.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stay. Got me some heads on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim ready sent me to show you the way. Crypto in the morning. 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 Crypto in the morning.
What's good, bro? What's good? I'm excited. I am excited every day. I probably come on here every day and say how excited I am, but to feel peaceful and calm mentally at these times where things are crashing, it feels like you have such an advantage relative to everybody else. I'm talking to people.
Well, you do.
They're scared. They're like,
you gotta go through hell, though. If you don't go through hell in real life, if you don't have 150 girls tell you to fuck off, 150 dudes tell you to fuck off, and a couple dudes beat your ass, a couple people accuse you for shit falsely, get arrested once or twice, you will not care. I guarantee you will not care no longer because you just see so much, right? And there's so many people that stay safe within their life, and then it's hard for them to get involved. What do I do when I see something sketchy? I get involved right away. Not like, not like illegally sketchy, but like crypto, weird, nuanced, low adoption. I'm in. I'm all in. You know what I mean? Like that's all I need to hear. Anyway,
we got a special guest today. I was super excited. I know you have more context about David Feeder. I don't, so I'm curious.
Yeah, tell everyone. Background. A lot of people here know Feeder. You probably have never even watched because you don't really watch many people's content unless you're looking up something directly. So you have no context here. So this is going to be like a full circle for you. I've been watching Feeder stuff constantly for about 6 months, 8 months on Matty All In show, on everything that he pops up on, So
let's bring him on.
Let's bring him on. I mean, no.
Yo. What's up, guys?
Hey, I love your background, dude. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, dude. I'm in the data center, living the life,
Is that at first when I saw you in the green room, I thought that the headset was actually green, but now I realize it is the green screen that is actually green.
Yeah, I need to get some like earbuds or something so I can make it look more believable. I'm actually in here because this is just a green screen behind me. The headphones.
It's 2023. I mean, people probably think you're in like the Bat Cave somewhere in like the middle, like like that. Your background looks the best. One day, I hope to be able to have a background. My computer's not good enough, I don't think, but like to have one that doesn't glitch at all. That would be.
I would like to put up some of those lights that you have that are like real, where it's like maybe a little red over here and a different color in that corner there, and just make it look, a little bit more dope.
So let's get right into this. I'll start it off. Who are you, David Feeder? What's your interaction with crypto? How did you get involved in all this stuff? Some of your technical background, work background, and what kind of stuff do you look up in your free time? And like, what are you excited about moving forward?
Yeah, totally. Yep. So I'm obsessed with. So first, I'll just say I'm obsessed with crypto, like you guys. Right? It's all I think about all day, every day, and it's been years. It's been a long time now.
That means it doesn't go away, Sam.
Yeah, it doesn't go away. Like it just gets worse, but then you get better, and then you're the best. Like So I've been around since the old days. I'm a computer guy. I went to college for doing computer networks. So I've been working for IT companies ever since college. It's my job. And that's how I got into crypto. Bitcoin came out.
You said the old days. So what does that mean?
Like back when it was just Bitcoin.
So like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I remember when Mt. Gox got hacked, and like that was a big deal, and everybody lost all their Bitcoin way back in the day. It really wasn't worth much back then. I was like mining on my home computers, but it was like I was getting nothing. It was like dust.
And you didn't know necessarily what you were. But you didn't have the anticipatory.
No way, never. If you'd been like, "Yo, one day these coins are going to 50 grand," I would have called you a liar. I've been like, "What? What are you talking about? No way."
Yeah, that would get you killed for witchcraft back in the day, stuff like that. But that's the kind of unextrapolatable data we talk about it all the time. There is some data the smartest guys in the world can't extrapolate, but you can figure that out. You could figure out that you can't extrapolate the data, and you can figure out that no one else knows that. So like with stuff like Hex, with adoption, we're talking Hedron, we're talking everything. People say all they say, but I think future.
So you're in crypto this whole entire time, like way longer than we are.
Yeah.
And when did you get into Hex? Like, were you just seeing scam after scam, right? Like, I mean, if you've been in since 2013, 2014, you've seen a lot of stuff that we just don't have the context for. So how did you find out? How did you find like Hex? Did you like find Richard Hart before you found Hex? And then like, this is a kind of fucking interesting dude.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Even back in like 2017, like especially that like spring and summer, that was when shit got like amazing. That was like the golden ages of crypto. Like Richard was streaming. Like even the dudes you see today, like a lot of those guys are streaming, and it was popular. And that's how I found Richard. Back then, he was a Bitcoin maxi. I liked Ethereum. I was losing money on ICO scams. Kind of like, you would throw in Ethereum and you'd get these coins, and it pumped in 2017, and then they all died and dumped. So I was there for that. Like, that was the crazy times.
And so you hear Richard talking about this. He's Bitcoin maxi, and then he switches to Ethereum. And then were you following like his journey? Because I know with certain people, there's this one dude I catch some of this stuff in tech like once or twice a year or something like that. But I've been catching some of this stuff in tech like for 6-7 years at this point. So was it kind of like that with Richard as you saw him transition from Bitcoin maxi to Ethereum? And then
Yes.
how did you get into, did you get in Hex day one or?
Oh yeah. Well, I remember one stream, Richard had the idea and he called it Bitcoin Hex. One day he's like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to make our own coin. He's like, Bitcoin's dying. He's like, Ethereum, I'm seeing he watched EOS like raise $1 billion or like 4 billion. That was the biggest ICO. So Richard saw all that happening.
You think that might have sparked him up a little bit in his brain cells.
That's where the
That's a
adoption
lot,
amplifier
man.
for
That's
Hex
a
came
lot.
from. Yeah. So
That's a huge amount for that.
we watched Richard get inspired, and it took 2 years for Hex to come out. We waited 2 years, and Richard always said on stream, all right, guys, 4 more weeks. 4 more weeks. We're working on it. We're working on it. Dude, that took 2 years, man. So it's funny to watch people cry about Pulse Chain, but like
in 2017. So 2017, he was kind of saying it's going to come out, and it didn't come out until 2019.
Or it was 2018. So like we had the Bitcoin crash, and there was 2018, and then Richard said, "Yep, let's do it. Let's make Hex."
And they waited
And
an
then
extra year.
2020
after that,
came out.
So they waited an extra year from what you probably thought it was going to be a year before it was. So there was probably like a year of lull.
Yeah.
So Sam, and I knew this already because I asked a bunch of guys, but remember, and I knew, and you know me, I'll wait to the end of time until I'm blue in the face. I could give a shit. I have plenty of stuff to do. Plenty. Literally. Everyone should have plenty of stuff to do. It's stupid if you don't, because you can like clean your house up or something, like even your car, upgrade your life, upgrade your relationships, double down on something, like, please guys, stop.
It's a lot of downtime in crypto. If you're doing it right, you're usually not clicking a lot of buttons. It's a lot of waiting.
But you can use that. Like, once you know that, you can use it. It's great.
Yeah, were you chopped up in fees?
Did you like hold on to your Bitcoin? I mean, you don't have to, but like, did you hold on to a lot of it?
Yeah, tell us some your experience within you don't have to give the numbers, but like what kind of mistakes did you come into through the dips and the waves?
Yeah, so I did the same thing Richard did. Like 2017 and then 2018, I didn't sell. We rode it down from 20, and I watched my portfolio just like I am today. You just watch the numbers go down every day. And I did that back then. I'm doing it right now. So it doesn't bother me.
And you talk about inspiration for Hex. And while he sat there and waited and thought, how could I benefit from waiting? Mm-hmm. Because selling is not always good. It's a tax, blah, blah, blah. There's 100 reasons not to trade and sell. So why don't we capitalize on that premium right there? That there's a premium in not selling because there's tax. You get wrecked when you sell in some ways.
Did you ever try to do things with your Bitcoin to earn any yield with it?
Not really. There wasn't much to do with yield back then that I trusted, like because they were scams, like BitConnect and other stuff. It was kind of like Celsius, but like you literally just got your coin stolen. So like I learned that lesson a long time ago. Like you don't do that.
Lots of stealing going on.
What I did with my Bitcoin though is before Hex came out, you could free claim Hex like with your Bitcoin. So I bought as much Bitcoin as I could before Hex came out. And then I had Bitcoin in my wallet. I free claimed my Hex for that Bitcoin. Then I took that Bitcoin, I sold it for Ethereum, and I put the Ethereum in the adoption amplifier. So I turned my Bitcoin into Hex immediately.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you got a double. You got where if you press the up, up, down, and then the circle and the square at the same time, you get like a 2x bonus. Yeah. you got your bonus of free money from Bitcoin, and then you immediately sold that. And did you dollar cost average on a daily basis, or did you dump it all in at once? How did you spread that out over the adoption?
The first day. So I did day one FOMO. I just threw in like one Ethereum or whatever it was back then. It was like $100 or $200 back in the day in day one. But I had that Bitcoin. I claimed that. It took a couple days, and then I sold it, and then I did dollar cost average over the beginning, right? Plus just money from my paycheck. I did more too. I didn't have a lot of Bitcoin. I wasn't rich, so it was just a little bit, but it's huge now. You know, that was the right play. It worked out great.
Oh wow! So you were getting into Hex throughout that whole time. Have you it's been 2.5 years since Hex has come out. I'm brand new to Hex, and so you've been dollar cost averaging in Hex this whole time.
I mean, yes and no. Like I wasn't buying last September at the highs. I was selling. You know, I mean, I have taken profits. I'm not going
And
to
it
lie.
takes
I'm not
that
one of those.
insight too. Like you've already done that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, Peter? Like you've already played that game. You've seen 1100% pumps, and you know that there's only so much like meat on the bone when there's going to be a 90 dump at some point.
Yeah, you gotta take profits.
How do you decide?
Like once you're able to more than pull out what you've already put in, you're good. Like if you're looking at let's say you put in $1,000, and then one day you look, you got 20 grand, you better pull 5, right? You better pull 5 times what you put in, and then you can just leave the rest, and then it's house money. You want to be on house money as quick as possible for the rest of your life. That's the goal, in my opinion.
Okay, cool. No, I like it. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, that's kind of how I did it. And then it was just
I
like, okay,
luckily
I'm
got to
covered.
that point like right away because I got so lucky with I found Richard Hart's work. I was in a paid group. Then I found Richard Hart's work because they said Richard Hart was going to scammer. And so I went to Richard Hart and he was calling the top right then. And I sold all my Bitcoin. I was like, this dude's a genius. He knows everything. He's talking about detail. So I just did it. I kind of FOMO'd and just went all in on Hex at 2 cents. But I got out of Bitcoin, watched it go all the way down, and I learned. So I learned. I was like, ooh, like, you know, let me dig deeper is kind of what I'm saying. And then obviously we're at this point now where Bitcoin is at this moment. Let me give you a live update because there has been a price drop. 19,091. That's Bitcoin right now. That's big. That's down 7.5 on the daily. And we have Hex, guys. Hex, and this excites me and Sam. So for the people it doesn't, I'm sorry. 0.029. We have broke under the 3 cent mark. And you know what I keep thinking about there? We got that 1.9 resistance, guys. That 1.9 resistance, and then under that 0.007. So be ready for those 2 points with your limit orders.
Can I share something with both of you guys? But I think it would be also helpful and potentially interesting to the audience. So this is a rental property I own. It's a duplex, right? So the other side is rented out. And because of the way the rules are structured, I can put solar on this, batteries on the property here, and I get this massive tax incentive because it's for business purposes. So I guess instead of depreciating it over, say, 7 or 8 years, I get to do it all this year. Basically, I get to pay another year of no taxes, or I get another year of no taxes. But I'm talking to my buddy who works for one of these solar companies. He's like, yeah, I can structure your loan so you don't have to pay anything for 12 months. Oh, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, actually, I could do it so you get a check. And I was like, whoa, wait 1 second here. Like, so you're saying I can put solar on my property, I can put batteries on my property so that I increase the value of my property. I collect inflation, right? Because who collects inflation now if you're paying utilities? The utility company does, right? Every year they go up by 3-4%. You just don't realize it, right? Because it's a small amount. So you're at $150 or $250 bill that goes up to $265 or something like that. So now I collect inflation. I get a gigantic write-off for this year, so I don't have to pay any taxes on what I earn this year. I don't have to pay a bill for 12 months. And you're giving me a check that I can deposit and put into Hex for 1 year and stake it out in the future, and I won't have to pay a bill for X number of so say we see another 99% or 99% drop, right? Because this is going to go through probably relatively soon, right? So say we see another 99% drop, and in a year from today, the price is 1 cent or something like that. Okay, cool. Well, I just collected interest, so it will be slightly above the 1 cent, but still, there's the possibility.
I mean, you could still do a lot within that year anyway. So, like, if that's worst case scenario, like that doesn't work out. But anyway, Sam knows a million ways to like profit from tax implication stuff and all that, and he does videos on that. And do watch his videos. He does very nuanced videos on stuff like that are pretty great. Now that we know more about feeder,
Sorry about that.
you're good. You're good. Let's go in to the topic that me and Sam have been really trying to just understand more so than like do anything with at this moment, because, and we're talking about nodes, servers, basically the back end stuff that people don't know about until they like dig into it.
Yep.
What I learned, and this is the context for the information, because Frosty came on here the other day, and Frosty was talking about the opportunity, not necessarily just he was talking about the opportunity to have a more secure, more efficient, more centralized towards hexagons node network, and somehow making that work. Is that something that's possible? Is that something that you think about? And also, what do you when it comes to the servers and stuff? I want to get into that right after.
Yeah. So
why is this an issue? Why are like the nodes the issue? Why is this coming up? Right? Because
like
what's going on?
Why is the nodes being centralized a problem that we have to think about? Because that's basically where we're getting at. Ethereum nodes are centralized to 40%, one person.
Yeah.
So that's not 100% uptime in my eye. Well, I guess that's the wrong verbiage. There's potential risk that hex can be affected. So
yes,
that would
Ethereum,
make
all of Ethereum.
Yes.
Because like we'll use let's start with Ethereum, right? Because that's what Pulse Chain is. So Ethereum, you have nodes, and nodes are just Linux servers, and they run the Ethereum software, and they download the blockchain, and they save it as a file, and then the nodes talk to each other, and they all keep in track of the blockchain, right? And they all make sure that they've all got the same, and then each block gets added, and that's their job.
Now, just for clarification, are there master nodes and then like baby nodes?
There's so there's archive nodes. Archive nodes are huge. They got a lot of hard drives.
They download the whole blockchain, right?
They download the whole blockchain and every change of they call it like the state or snapshot. So like they have every transaction, they have every wallet balance. It's like the blockchain and more, and the full
they
history.
Just keep filling it. Basically,
they're huge. Yeah, they're like terabytes of data.
Yeah,
it's giant. Yeah. So those are archives.
And how do you, when you're talking about those, how do you, like, for noobs, when you're talking about those two things, do you have to say them separately, or is it better just to say there's this many nodes running on the network?
Most people don't know the distinction, because there's archive nodes that have everything. Yes. There's full nodes. They just have the blockchain, but they don't have all the state. They don't have all the transactions and stuff, but they have the blockchain. And then there's light nodes. Yeah. They don't even have the whole blockchain. They just call out like to some other server for the answer. They rely on somebody else. So the problem with
what is that? Is that necessary, or is that a creation?
It's a good thing, because like cell phones, like your cell phone, you want to run a light Ethereum node because it doesn't take up all your memory card space, so your phone can do it. It's made for small devices, and it's useful. So that's why they invented it. And
and then the master node. Go ahead.
And then your light nodes would call home to a full node or an archive node for an answer if they didn't have it.
And so you said it's useful to have a node on, say, your phone, but
like if you're an Ethereum developer.
Well, he was saying basically that's used for if you had a device and you were using it that had less capacity.
Yeah.
But the I don't see the value prop of the node as being something that a lot of people appreciate, right? Because that story just doesn't work.
And I'm going to add,
or there'd be more than 6,000 fucking nodes.
And I'm going to add to that too, because this is where me and Sam are getting stuck a little bit in our minds, and I am too, because we don't think about. I mean, nodes are interesting because there's a profit problem with them still, right? Like there's not a very good incentive structure. Nobody's figured that out, to my knowledge, in a beautiful way yet. Not saying that could not occur very shortly, but we're trying to figure out, like, how can this be scalable and how do people want to do it?
Well, for Ethereum, you can mine Ethereum, right? So that's why probably a lot of guys do it. Now mining is different from nodes for Ethereum. You mine with video cards. The nodes, usually people who want to run them, if you want to run them for money, you have to provide a service. Have you ever heard of like Infura?
Yeah.
Like Infura is a company where they run their servers in Amazon Cloud. They run a bunch of Ethereum nodes. And then if you pay them monthly, you can ask their nodes questions with like software, like API calls. You reach out to their servers.
What does an API call mean? Like for people who are just fucking noobs, like me.
like it's like when an app on your phone asks a question about the blockchain, it uses an API call to ask a node the answer.
It's like, so it's kind of like querying a database. Is that kind of one way to think about it?
Bingo. You're querying the Ethereum database. Exactly. Yes.
And what was the what did you call it? Something about an API? What was the word you used?
Like an API call?
API call. Okay. I just trying to.
So an API call is like the trigger. It would be like the trigger action word.
Yeah, that's like the question you're asking. You're like, hey, what's my balance in my wallet? Like, that's an API call. And then the server answers a million X. Cool.
And how do you get, or what are some ways that you could earn money with a node? Because I see that as having to be the solution.
And do you need to?
Well,
no, I know, Sam, I'm not going to let you just say this again because it's not about you. And there's a lot of people that have different feelings within this community.
Well, it's not working. Look at the data. It's not working.
We're starting. This is brand fucking new.
Correct.
And guys that
it's been 13 years and it's not like anything changing. So like there's something going on there.
Yes, there's something going on, but Ethereum went up how much percent? Did you miss all of that? How much Bitcoin percent went up? Did you miss
We're not
all
talking
of that?
about the price. We're talking about
No, I know you, but the tech has been here. People have been dealing with this stuff. And yes, there is an incentive structure missing, but at the same time, it's not just for like, I don't think the answer is as simple as if you give someone a little more money to do it, they'll do it. I don't personally think that's the answer. I feel like it has to be a little more something that has like nothing to do with it almost. But I just want to know, because I want to understand nodes. And it's not fair to say that we understand nodes quite yet. So I want to get to the point where I exactly understand what's going on, because then we start talking about the hardware and how much money you need to update the hardware over time. And that's a question that I've been kind of thinking about too. I'm like, I know Ethereum nodes look nothing like they did 5 years ago. So that means you would have to provide an Ethereum node, and then somehow everyone would have to incentivize themselves to update the shit all the time. So there's a lot in there, right? You have to give it to people that want to do it in a way, shape, or form, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like not just because of the money. Like that's where you're going to have to be at.
Like running a regular Ethereum node or even a regular Pulse chain node, there's no money in it. You get nothing. All right? Like there's no benefit.
Correct.
So let's talk about it. So for the Ethereum, let's just talk about Ethereum nodes real quick.
Sure.
We have the chart here, right here. And Ethereum mainnet statistics, right?
Mm-hmm.
5,714, that's the total.
Yes.
I don't know all these side things, but I'm sure they're just like you were saying before. What's the biggest one? We got Geth, GE.
Geth. So
tell me Geth right there. Like explain to me what this is representing, what this kind of, just explain this for me.
Yeah. So Geth is Ethereum written in Go language. That's why it's called Geth. The G stands for Go. Because Ethereum, you can write it in whatever computer language you want. So if you look below Geth, there's Aragon. I'm not sure what language that is. And then beneath that is Open Ethereum. And I don't know what, I'm not a developer, so I'm not into computer languages and coding and all that. So I don't know the details of all these, but these are just different versions of Ethereum written in different types of code, but it's all Ethereum. They all follow the same rules.
And why do these, how did we get to this point, right? How did we get to this point where this chart, and why is Geth the one that has 81.1%? And like, what makes that one the one that has 81.1%?
Geth has been the most popular version of Ethereum nodes for a couple of years. And I think it's because they have the best team. They have, 5 or 10 guys, and they get money from the Ethereum Foundation and from the Consensus Foundation. So those guys are just kind of given money, and it's their job to keep it updated and keep it working. So that's kind of what everybody uses. It's kind of like it's like using Ubuntu Linux or like Windows. It's kind of
when you say keeping it updated, what is keeping it updated? The Ethereum Go thing to download?
Yeah, yeah. And if there's an update from Ethereum itself, they put those changes in Geth and they actually make the updates and the patches. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I see. So it's just almost so if let's say me and Sam decided that we were going to run a node, would you just
Yeah.
pick the language that you were familiar with? Would you just pick the service that was easiest to deal with? And why? I just want this from you because you have a lot more like why would you do it? Is it just because you want if I have $150 million in Ethereum, right? I would really like Ethereum to work properly.
Mhm.
If I could facilitate that in any way, shape, or form, I most likely would personally. Maybe some people would give a fucking rat's ass, but whatever. So explain that to us a little bit if you can. You run stuff like this. You probably don't have 100% incentive structure to do so. You could probably just relax most of the time. So explain a little bit of that if you could.
Yeah, sure. And to even answer your question, let's say you had $150 million worth of ETH and you just want to feel a little safer at night. So you buy a computer and you download Geth and you run an Ethereum node. Here's the trick. You can take your MetaMask and you can tell your MetaMask wallet to only talk to your server that you built in your house that you trust. And then whenever you send, you do a transaction, your node actually is the relay into the Ethereum network, and you can trust that it's real data. So that's one of the benefits of running your own node is actually you can ask your own node blockchain questions or even run your MetaMask off of your own equipment.
What type of like questions would people like query their node?
Like, yeah,
that's not a developer, that's not like into it really. Like, you know what I mean? Like what kind of questions that I might ask it that I might find interesting, or GRC or something?
Well, it depends. You could ask it, hey, how much liquidity is in the Uniswap pool for Hex versus USDC, and it'll literally show you the numbers. There's obviously you can go to a website, so it's
Pretty cool though.
It's not bad. It's
accurate
software. Yeah, and it's the truth. That's the thing too. Is like it's a terminal like command line, and the command line never lies. So if you've got your own node,
through the FUD too. I see 150 messages a day about stuff, and if I have my other computer set up, like boop, 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 and then you could just right away. It's just a way to cut through a little bit if you're really into it.
Yeah, and then a lot of people use them for like a Hex Live on Twitter. He built the Pulse X buy and burn bot on Twitter. So whenever Pulse X on the testnet gets bought and burnt, his node sends that command to his Twitter bot, and then his Twitter bot posts it. So, and it's all automated. A lot of the times with these nodes, you're not asking it a question manually. Like you've got a piece of software that does it all for you. So it's really about building software and applications. You could build whatever you want.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so what are some other?
You know what you're thinking a little bit, like because I kind of missed a little bit of that, but I know we were talking with Frosty, and this is kind of where you came in, and you were like, "Why don't we just do?" He was mentioning the DApp, and then once you kind of got your hands on thinking about that, it seems like you were like, that's the way, right? And Frosty was saying the same thing. Make a cool DApp interface that somehow benefits Sam. This is crazy. Is this possible to benefit the people that have the nodes, like somehow an interface that like you get airdrop or some shit? I don't know. See, I just get confused.
That's hard. I don't know how you're going to airdrop everybody who runs a node, because running a node, there's no wallet inside of it usually. So there's no way to track. Like we don't know who you are.
What if
like,
you
I don't know your Ethereum address.
What if the Hex stakers were the ones that got all the node hardware, software and hardware that I supplied out, and then you obviously knew who they were from their wallets?
I don't know how to prove that your server and your wallet are really tied together.
Yeah,
I don't know I don't know. That's a tough question.
It's a lot, right? Like it's just like this is like the Wild West. It's like like it's just like you bring things up, and then if there's 50 guys in the room, 99% of ideas are just going to get shot down because of the nuance. Sam, what are you thinking in terms of, because you might have a little bit better? I was
journaling about this because just anything that's interesting or on my mind, I like to write it down and talk about it on paper, because sometimes it's helpful for me to just kind of flush out a bunch of the details around it. So if there was a node, say, entity whether it's a DAO or some type of like business entity, and you go purchase from it, you have to purchase with you either have to purchase in any way, but you have to put in some type of address because that's going to allow you to mint the node fucking token or something like that. I don't know, and I didn't
okay.
right, because that way like by purchasing a node, you get free node token or whatever you want to call it, and as an incentive to increase the quantity of nodes, you buy one and you get, say, 10,000 node tokens. You buy two and you get 15,000. So 10,000 plus 15,000 for a total of 25,000 to give people an incentive to run multiple nodes. And that way, and then when there is, I'm not sure how to like set up the semantics of it. This is just what I was thinking. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So you can take your node token and you could stake it or you could sell it, right? So by staking it, any applications that are built on top of this growing and expanding network, there's a certain percentage of the profit or the revenue that comes in from the applications or fees that are put on top of this thing that will go into this thing that pays out to the stakers. Because I was like, how can we create something that, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. I think that there probably should be more nodes. In my mind, I see this gigantic market cap, right? At one point, around $1 trillion for Bitcoin, and 500 billion or whatever it was.
Another trillion for alts.
Yeah, and Ethereum, and between Ethereum and Bitcoin, you have like 21,000 nodes, and you're like, there's lots and lots of millionaires. I know GRC wouldn't be in this group, right? But there's lots and lots of people who are millionaires who don't run nodes. They don't. Yeah. They don't run nodes, and most of them do not. There's more than 5,700 millionaires or multimillionaires in Ethereum, and yet there's only 5,700 nodes. And we know that Infura and a boatload of them are clustered in one area. Right?
Yes.
So, what are your thoughts on all this kind of stuff? And then I wanted to talk about applications that could be built.
Well, you kind of gave me an idea, actually.
Dope.
Yeah, because I have thought about, once mainnet's out and once Pulse Chain's up and running, wouldn't it be cool if somebody made a website where you could buy a pre-made node, ready to go, pre-built? It's got all the software on it, ready to rock. All you got to do is buy it. It gets shipped to your house. You plug it in.
I would like that. That's kind of the way I would like it.
It has to be easy for me. Like, I have to take it out of the box and fucking plug that shit in.
Plug it in.
Not all this other like setup shit.
I'm the kind of guy that would rather spend $1,200 to do something easier than spend $400 to do it myself for like 7 hours of man labor. So like, I like buying things in full. So that sounds appealing to me off the jump. So
please go into your idea. I love this.
If you want to jump in at any time, please.
So if somebody made a website where you buy nodes, shipped to your house, little server, all you do is you plug in the power and then you plug in the internet cord, and then it's pre-configured. It's ready to go. You just push the power button and boom, it starts right up.
Yeah. So to add some context, there's a bunch of hexagons right now that Frosty kind of inspired to get together, and that's essentially what we're trying to build: a device that can run multi-nodes, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Pulse Chain. And essentially, you buy it, it gets shipped to your house, you plug it in, and it's working. And to add context of what Sam is talking about, Sam is trying to figure out a monetization incentive to incentivize people to actually like buy this piece of hardware.
Which is complicated, to say the least.
And I think that was where David's idea was going. I think you were about to get into
it. Yeah, well, here's how I would do it.
Okay.
When somebody buys a node and they go to the website, just ask them for an Ethereum address. Yes. Say, hey, what's your address, bro? Oh. And then you just save them. And then once you've sold all the nodes or they're up and running, then you make a coin, you make an ERC20, just airdrop it to that list. Just give every address that bought something from you, just give them some new coins, some free coins. That would totally work. Perfect.
Right? Because I was like, this way we could incentive. So if David's comes to the site and you're like, okay, $900, $1,200, whatever the cost of this thing is that operates effectively for the market, maybe there's a couple of versions, and you get 10,000, but we can also incentivize people to run multiple nodes because Bullish had said yesterday or several days ago or something that it's like 5 or 20 watts of power. It's a relatively small power draw. Is that
That does not sound like a lot of power. I got a bill down to like 200 watts, like a 200
So is
watt
that
power
200
supply
watts per day, or is that 200 over a month?
per day. It's a 200
okay.
watt power supply.
Before we
No,
get
what so for context, what I was talking about, if the platform is built on ARM devices, then it's
So-
like about 20 volts, depending on a cluster or something like that. But if you go the traditional route, we're talking about 60 to 90 watts. You know what I mean?
Well, so
Yeah.
David, how much does and I know everybody's got a different electric bill, but we're talking like watts and this kind of thing, and there's no relation to reality for people. So what does 200 cost you per month?
Like a normal computer. Like this is actually a pretty small. My gaming computer here has like a 1,000 watt power supply, so I'm talking about 5 times less than my
it's
gaming
roughly
computer.
$100 per month average in US would be 1,000. So 200 would be roughly $20 per month.
Yeah, it's cheap. Yeah, like a small computer, like a small laptop. That's how much electricity we're talking. Not much at all.
Actually,
Okay, cool. Now, I think we're onto something. If you guys who are watching, I like the idea, like reach out to us, because we're trying to solve this problem in a way that brings people together and helps the entire like system of Pulse, but also crypto in general, because these nodes could run multiple networks on them potentially.
And,
this
also they can run on multiple platforms, whether it's Intel based, ARM based, like there's multiple devices they can run on. So like that's all the stuff we're exploring right now. But there's multiple ways to solve this problem.
Yeah, just like Ethereum today runs on all kinds of devices. Yeah, totally. It's open source. You could run it on whatever you want.
So I say I have a node, right, sitting over here in my office.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, GRC, I just built this cool fucking app where you can, I don't even know what, like it's, the thing that comes to my mind is the DEX, right? You can come in here and you could trade, but you need liquidity, so it can happen. So can you tell me like, or creative ideas that you have on applications that could be built on top of nodes, so to speak? So like the user interface, you had mentioned command line, right? So like that's like the DOS, from my mind, without being a tech person, that's like the DOS interface that I don't know, understand, or how to interact or anything, right?
Yeah.
But like a user interface that like somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, like me, would be able to interact with it on a node interface, so that there's an application there. There's an application. What are some cool ideas that you might have around that, or things that could be built?
Oh, well, I mean, technically speaking, every app is doing this. Like, let's take go.hex.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you make your hex stakes.
Mm-hmm.
Richard's web server runs go.hex.com.
Mm-hmm.
Richard, that server talks back to Richard's Ethereum node. Or maybe he's plugged it into Infura and he's talking to somebody else's node. But that's exactly how every piece of software on the blockchain works. It's required for everything. So you can build whatever you want. We're just talking about normal apps. It's nothing special for the node. But like the nodes are like the foundation of this house. They run all the software behind the scenes for the blockchain.
Because I was trying to figure out a way, because to get mass adoption, to get like millions and millions and millions of nodes globally, to really have something decentralized, in my opinion, you need to have incentives related to either making money, dropping costs, or reducing the time, like GRC was saying,
Or privacy in some, if that's like,
but that's the current argument, and it's not working.
well, that's still a factor.
Yeah.
It is. It's just like
the greatest thing that's ever existed in technology is running on it at this moment. So,
and it's got 6,000 people doing it.
Yeah, but it's, because
there's no, unless you're selling your API calls to your nodes and stuff, like there's no way to make money with nodes. Now, Pulse Chain's different. This is where proof of stake and Pulse Chain changes the game.
Okay.
Because really all we care about in the future is the validators. Now, we want to have as many nodes as possible around the world, right? Because we want decentralization, we want the blockchain, we want copies everywhere in case there's an outage somewhere. If New York City area loses its internet, well, I hope there's servers in Australia, and I hope there's servers in Europe and nodes everywhere, right?
Right.
But in reality, for Pulse Chain, the incentive is the top 33 nodes, the validators, they're the ones that mine the blocks. So the most important thing you can do is delegate to the good ones and pick the good ones and vote for them and keep them up and running, because their nodes actually make the blocks. So without validators, like Pulse Chain won't exist. So it's like running a node at home, like it's just charity. It's like if you buy one of those nodes, let's pretend I made a website, hey, Dave's nodes, you could buy a node for whatever, a couple grand. Like it's just, you're doing that out of the goodwill of your heart to help the blockchain stay decentralized. But in reality, you're not going to make any money. You know, the only way to make money is to vote for a validator, and then you'll
But
get
the
some of
number's
the
so
fees.
low of validators that it seems like scaling to 10,000, you can get way more creative than if you're scaling. Like, first you just want to be number one, right? Like being number one seems way doable right now. I don't know what it takes to do all this stuff. I'm clearly like, that's not where I'm getting at. But when you just look at the numbers, like I had a job where I was selling random stuff at some point, and 5,800 people in 5 years, 2 years, not that many people, So that's why that's kind of where I was getting at with it. But let's go back to whatever we were talking about. I kind of forgot. And everyone in the comments, real quick, thank you so much for being here. I've been trying to pay attention. Add a quick video link to with a device on education. You could send. Sorry. You could send tokens or NFTs with a limited supply to people with these nodes every month if their uptime is above a threshold to incentivize people maintaining the network. That's very interesting.
That's
too.
a good one.
Ooh,
that's a good
so
idea.
could
Talk about that.
Par excellence. Thank you for that idea, David.
great.
So could you do that with like token supply? So say what we were talking about, if you either purchase with an Ethereum address, or if you purchase with the credit card, you have to supply Ethereum address if you want to mint the node token. And then if you're above a certain threshold from uptime, what Par Excellence was saying, then there's like a bucket that just gives those people like new, like minted or something.
Yes,
Cool.
yes. You could
Or
reward them
HSI
based on
stakes.
uptime.
Pardon?
Yeah,
Or
you could
HSI
do
stakes.
or HSI. Yeah, anything.
You know,
you could
and
airdrop them
tokenized
whatever you
token-
want.
I was looking at some Hedron stuff that was getting me a little pumped up.
You could do
earlier.
campaigns. You could even do maybe like a challenge. Say, hey guys, whoever gets the most nodes up and running for the next 30 days from like, and they can prove that they're theirs with their wallet address, you get these NFTs. You could do all kinds of challenges, rewards. Absolutely.
Imagine
all
if we
that.
got this channel just for a thought experiment. 100,000, let's say 100,000 viewers, very active viewer base. Getting something like that going on with a challenge like that, like I'm more of the marketing side of things. I'm just because that's what it's going to be easier for me in general. And I like rallying the people to do stuff that helps. And a lot of the people that I know and interact with have a lot of money in Hex and Ethereum and stuff. So, I think with the numbers being so low all these ideas are amazing. We could, just like you were talking about Richard learning as he went, creating as he went. It's like, you can do the same thing. Like you can do the same thing that he's doing. You never have to limit yourself mentally. It's very easy to limit yourself. Oh, Richard's a different type of guy. Oh, Vitalik's a different type of guy. All these guys are different types of guys, like they're superhuman. And it's like, they're not superhuman. Yeah. They're focused on a mission.
Yep. That's how we all do it. Yeah. Like even me, like when Pulse Chain was first announced, when first came out of Richard's mouth, I was like, whoa, this is cool. And then he talked about the validators and how it works. And I was like, I want to do that. I didn't know Linux. I'd never used Linux in my life, except for like maybe once or twice. So I had to download it. I had to learn it. I had to use the terminal commands. I didn't know any of them. So I've been working on this for like 9 months ever since it started. So yeah, same for me, man. I didn't start out like this. I had to learn all this.
So it sounds like, and please tell everybody here, that it sounds like you might be a validator. Is that accurate?
I am a validator. I happen to be the #1 validator on the testnet right now with the most votes.
Yes. Okay, cool. So
feed the feeder. We call it feed the feeder. We're going to be give feeder that pulse.
How does somebody point a node, or is that what you're talking about? A node pointing at a validator, or is this the pulse and I like stake that with you kind of thing?
Yeah, this is staking. This is pulse staking.
So it's pulse chain.
Yep, pulse chain staking. Yep. So I've got the most pulse chain staked for my node, and then I think Liquid Loans is #2, and Hodl Dog is #3, and yeah, people are voting for us with their pulse.
Interesting. Congratulations. That's
Thanks.
a large number of people are placing a lot of trust in you, and that's respect.
That's why he's on the show, because like people trust David Feeder, like, and that's a lot to bear. We do the same thing here. We stick up for what we believe in, and we're willing to put our face there, and we're willing to keep saying it, right? And I trust myself, like to do what I said I will do, depending on what that is, But it's awesome what you're doing. I mean, you don't have to be doing a lot of this stuff, that. And
I love it. Yeah, thanks.
Of course.
Yeah, appreciate the congratulations, guys. Yeah, but I love it. I'm obsessed. I love crypto. I love Richard Hart. He changed my life. I went from broke pleb to, changed my life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to worry about food anymore, because of Richard. So that's why I will run a pulse chain validator for the rest of my days. I don't care what it costs.
Do you have that video? Do you have that video of you talking about Hex?
Which one? Like,
he's like, I got a lot of them.
But he was one of the first guys.
The testimonial video.
Yeah,
that's like the first video on my YouTube channel.
See this. This will give him some
my old one
crazy context, some really disgusting content.
Yeah, because if you go to hex.com/testimonials, my video is on there. And at the time, Richard said it was the best thank you video he ever received, because I was basically almost crying. Like, it really, Richard really changed my life. So I was really. And that was a private message to him. I didn't post that. Like, I sent it to him in Telegram. He's like, bro, we're putting this on the site. We're telling everybody. I was like, whoa, man. And that's how I got here. Because I'm just, I'm just a believer. I was there since the beginning, and it worked out,
Let's.
Do you want to give a little bit of
pull it up.
So to give a little bit of a preview to the video, can you talk about what was going through your life before you made this video?
I'm going to pee real quick before you play the video.
Before you got into Hex, like, what was going on in your life situation, right? Married, kids, this kind of thing. Was financially struggling? Did you working 2 fucking jobs? You have debt? What was going on?
Yeah. I got a wife and 3 kids, and I work full time as an IT nerd, just trying to break even. I had like, what was it, $40,000 or $30,000 in college debt. I got a mortgage, 2 car payments, and just no money. Just broke. But working full time. Surviving. And yeah, man, when Hex came out, I was in day one, dollar cost averaged. I used to buy Hex. It was 100 Hex for a penny, sometimes even more. It was like hundreds of Hex for a penny, So you just dollar cost average, a couple $100 every paycheck. I liquidated my 401k. I stopped contributing to that, and I took that money and I put it into Hex in the beginning. And man, that paid off. Hex was the best appreciating asset of 2020. So I went from zero to hero. That's pretty much it. I mean, that's how it went. It was.
And so this the video that we're gonna watch in a minute.
Oh, geez, are we actually gonna watch it? It's kind of embarrassing and old. We don't have to play it.
I think play it. This will be good. This will be hilarious. Okay, and so this had gone through, like, you had gone through, like, the car payments, you got the debt, you got the 3 kids, which come with their own expenses. Like, just sporadically shit just comes up, like, for that, I'm sure. Yep. And then you start earning money with Hex, and you have stakes coming due, and you're like, oh wow, oh wow, and this is like completely changing.
Yeah, the day it hit me, and the day I made that video was the day Hex first hit 1 cent, and I had one Ethereum wallet where I just had. Originally, it was just $750 worth of Hex. And then at that day, at a penny, that wallet was worth more than all my student loans, like over 40 grand in one wallet, chilling. And I was like, I started crying, and I made that video to Richard. I'm like, Richard, I just paid off all my student loans because, man, that's the day my life changed, was at a penny. That was like, I thought it would take like 5 years, 10 years to get to a penny. That was like a dream moonshot. And we hit it in like, whatever, 10 months, 12 months.
And now we're 66% above that. Everyone's crying.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, seriously. Like, we're still up from then, like, a lot. So,
they don't press log.
Yeah.
They
So,
don't
like,
press log enough.
so I can't complain. Like, this bear market, like, I don't feel it because my Hex is still up so big from the old days. Like, it's all good.
Hell yes. Let's play this, baby.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, Richard. My name is David Feeder, and I just wanted to make a quick video and say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You've changed my life. And getting a little emotional. Yeah, I mean, I've been watching your videos for many years now, before Hex was even launched, back when you were talking about it. And, you know, everything you said has been 100% correct, 100%. And it's been a wild ride, and it's been a lot of fun. And I'm a hardcore Hexican. I'm an IT guy, nerd by trade, hacker. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you. From me to you, thank you personally. Gratitude can't express how I feel. You really changed my life, my family's. Thank you. Thank you for that. You know, that's amazing. The opportunity you've given everybody. And it really, you know, I 100% sympathize with you and love your videos when you tell it like it is, and you know, you deserve the respect that you've earned from what you've done. And it's amazing what you've invented, and they don't get it. They don't understand. They have no idea, and they'll learn soon. They'll figure it out. But a lot of us now's the time when a lot of people should be onboarded, and now's the time to tell everybody. So, you know, it's already changed my life, but this is just the beginning. I mean, now that we're even just at a penny, that's the beginning. That's which is, I mean, even a year ago when I first got, like, I've been there since the beginning. And man, even in my mind, a penny was like a target. So we're about to hit that, and that's already life changing. And I'd love to share my story of a $750 investment in a single wallet that now at a penny, I've paid off my student loans, and it's changed my life. And I have more Hex than that, and I've invested a lot, and I've got, you know, I'm ready for the ride, and you know, I've picked the right horse. So I just want to say thank you. Just thank you.
That's awesome. I was
Yeah,
definitely, I could feel the emotions.
Holy
like
shit,
watching.
dude. That's crazy. You're saying the same things that we say now. It's just like, that was pretty hardcore.
Yeah, and that was like, what, 2 years ago almost? Like, that was a long
Does that
time
give you
ago
some
now, man.
context, Sam? Like, does it make you feel like a lot of stuff I say about Richard, when people that don't know Hex that well or are newer, when I talk about Richard, they're like, oh, you know, he's such a D rider. And I'm like, yes, I am. You know what I mean? Like, because he just hasn't missed as far as since I've watched him. Everything he said's true. He changed my life forever. Forever. It doesn't matter what anyone says. When he called the top on the day and I had like whatever Bitcoin in my Coinbase account and I had no idea what was going on, and I sold it for Hex at 2 pennies, and I said, what's going on here? And then ever since then, he's been right about everything. To literally months in advance, when it's not cool to say, when it's not cool to say Celsius is going to zero at $6.
He's been doing this for 4 years. I've been watching Richard for 4 years, and he's always right. If you just do what he says, you will be wildly rich, like beyond your wildest dreams. All you got to do is just, it is hard because it's counterintuitive. He is a contrarian, you know, but he even, like, take a look at Celsius. He was telling people to pull their money 2 years ago, you know, so if you're a Hexican and you watch Richard, you know it's going to happen years in advance, years. So it's, you know, it's cool.
It's exciting, and it gives every one of us entrepreneurial opportunity galore, because he's telling us the future for us, because he was there way before us.
Yep.
Paying attention.
And even like Pulse Chain, like I can tell you now you guys know, everybody knows, Pulse Chain's the future. Pulse Chain is going to be the Ethereum in 7 years from now. Where do you think we're going to be?
Can you talk about this?
Oh my god,
because I could hear the energy in your voice changing as you were getting into Pulse, and I want to hear you. I love talking to people who about what they are excited about, and I could sense your energy changing as you were talking about Pulse. So Pulse X or Pulse Chain is going to be the Ethereum, you believe, in the next 7 years. Can you talk about this a little bit?
Oh yeah. This is the trick. Like, here's what's coming is Pulse Chain's going to come out. It might take another year from now. I'll be honest with you. We might have to wait another year, just like we did for Hex, 2 years. And then, man, I'm telling you, within 6 months, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. The price is probably going to go higher than any of us ever imagined. There's going to be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of users. It's going to blow people's minds. I'm telling you, we're taking over. We're taking over crypto. In 7 years from now, people are going to be like, oh my God, you guys are so lucky. You guys got into Pulse Chain. It's like, dude, we sacked through, like, we literally gave away our money and we waited for 2 years. This was not easy. Like, this is hard. We earned this. This is our treasure. So, man, dude, we're taking over. Pulse Chain is going to be the best blockchain.
There's
in the whole
nothing
world.
close.
What are the top 3 things about Pulse Chain you're like, well, this is just gonna fucking dominate these other things?
Well, like it's the speed and it's the cheapness of the fees. So when you go to like pulsex.com, like and you do a swap, it's like 1, 2, 3, bing, transaction done. Like, all right, sweet. What it cost you? 1/100 of a penny, a fraction of a penny, like nothing. It's dust. So you can click all you want. And now, like, it's going to revive Hex. Like, this is going to be the rebirth of Hex as a product, because now you can onboard people for nothing. Somebody's like, hey, I got $100 in my wallet. Can you help me in Coinbase? Can you help me get into Pulse Chain Hex? You're like, yeah, sure. Like, bridge over, that's really going to be the only fee you pay is bridging over. And then you could buy some Hex for a fraction of a penny. You could stake it. You can unstake. It's going to be beautiful, dude. This is going to be like a game changer. Like, this can change crypto forever.
You see this also increasing adoption?
Oh yeah.
Drastically?
Oh yeah. Well, huge adoption because of the approachability of it. Yeah, because it's like Ethereum on steroids. Oh yeah, like who doesn't want that, dude?
And the
This is
users
the
are
best.
like all entrepreneurial friggin' nutcases, like that they want more and they want everything. They want every bridge. They want every wallet. They want everything they can do. And they're all doing it for a year beforehand.
Mhm.
It's cool to, so I'm new in crypto, but it's cool to see, right? So Pulse Chain is super exciting, right? And you're like, okay, this is better than Ethereum in several different ways, right? And then right, because I'm new, I don't have the context, so I'm like, okay, cool, this is supposed to be better and new and that kind of thing. That's what people believe.
Yep.
And then you see things like the first 2 that come to mind. There's liquid loans. So I see liquid loans, and then I see like liquidity, and I'm like, oh my God, like just from like how GRC was like, I'd rather pay $1,200 than $400 if I had to do it myself, because it's that is a mental cost that people factor into doing things, and that's why a lot of shit doesn't done unless it's extremely simple.
Yeah, I gotta study for my shit,
And you look at liquid loans, and the iterative process to go from liquidity to the version of liquid loans we have today is like so much better. Hurricash, right, is 2.0.
Did that
Tornado
rug yet? Did that sack rug yet? That Hurricash? Is that real?
Is that what you
No,
think?
it's real.
No, it's
No,
real.
it's real.
That's dope.
Wow.
They're still
All right.
doing it. Yeah, they're still doing it. They
I
have
was
it.
in that
they have
Telegram like 6 months ago, and they're like, "Hey, we're doing a sacrifice for Hurricash." I was even like memeing on the founder. I'm like, "Who the fuck are you? And why are you
No,
doing this? Why are
funny.
I sacked for this?
It's
It's
fu-
already tornado cash."
It's funny you mention that, because that's how it came wind to us. We like accidentally, Jim Ram was like, didn't that shit rug? And they were like, no, we're still here. And then we got the developer on.
Yeah, basically, I went
he's
all
out
over the internet.
He
and I
came
was
on.
like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Hurricash
Cool.
rugged, Telegram's rugged, Discord rugged, everything rugged, Twitter not active, and then they all were like, "This Jim Rat's fudding Hurricash," and I was like, "Oh shit, you guys are real." I was like, and then I invited him on, and they
He came on. He's a super cool dude.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They
He
they capped the sack at $5 million.
or 2 mil or something. It was they only allowed so much, but the point was that like ETH to Pulse, right? Better version. Liquidity to liquid loans, better version. Tornado Cash to Hurricash. There's several ways that he highlighted. I don't remember off the top of my head, but better version. They're going to have like these changes, and everything's going from like 1.0 to 2.0 effectively, and it's exciting, you know what I mean? Because you have all this stuff, all of it is getting better. It's so much easier to like think of like curve.fi, right? That is garbage. Oh, yes, super cool protocol. Like when you look at the math and
It
stuff,
works really well.
Seen the
works
website?
well, but the website is trash.
Windows 95? Like, what the hell? Are you serious? You want me to put my Ethereum into this? Like, what? It's like off-putting. Yeah, it looks terrible.
It is it's definitely off-putting to say the least. But like I thought it was so laughable that I assumed it was some marketing tactic that I didn't have any insight about. I was like, there has to be a marketing tactic here. This is just too. And then you realize it's just mega nerd central.
An
Yes.
engineer built the graphical
Yeah, literally, like,
interface.
let's
Yeah.
make this functional, and then they're like, I'm too lazy to update the front
Yeah,
end.
it's
It
good
works
enough.
though.
We're done. Yep.
Yeah.
And all these things are getting updated, not necessarily curved, but like
No one's
these are
excited,
all getting
man.
updated.
No one's excited, bro. Everyone's like already made their run. Like they had the bull run. Anyone smart enough to make a protocol probably took profits. But, you know, like I don't know. It's hard to say, but like people in Pulse Chain are actually excited, you know? So that's the best part. It's fresh. It's exciting. The marketing is there. That's the best part. It's like, thank you for thinking about marketing for us, our age, so we didn't have to market some dumb shit that was called some stupid name. Pulse Chain's the coolest name ever. And Hex is the coolest name ever.
And
Like,
that's
it's
that's a good
easy.
point you made. It's a fresh start too,
Yeah.
right? Like if anybody who's sacked either for Pulse Chain or Pulse X, I promise you, this is like a fresh start on your life. Like once this thing is out in a couple of years, if you threw in money early, or if you were even there in the beginning, buy dollar cost average into Pulse Chain and Pulse X when the coins first launch, you know, just a couple $100 every paycheck could be life changing. You know what I mean? Like we're doing it again. So it's just this is another fresh start in case anybody who thinks they missed it. You thought you were late to Hex. This is going to be
you're
another
not late
opportunity
to
of a lifetime.
nothing. You're not late.
We're starting over. This is a brand new beginning.
Dude, Hex is going to be like infant again, and people are going to think the price point is the floor. And it's like, no. You don't want to give Hex any extra bonus, or it's just going to go nuclear. Like Hex goes nuclear with the normal function that it has now because the value prop is so redonkulous. But think about it. When people maybe in the bull market, dude, a $10 million buy is nothing. Nothing from a random address, from a random ass address. Think about that. We're like 49 mil. We're like a $49 million buy from all-time highs right now.
Yeah, exactly. And once the action's on Pulse Chain, oh yeah, I expect hundreds of millions of dollars to flow into Pulse Chain from Ethereum over the
people
bridge.
don't understand downward pressure in markets. Like until you understand that nuancely, like whales are not going to buy large amounts until they think it's ready to go. You know, and we don't know when they think it's ready to go. They could think it's ready to go tomorrow, like, you know, whatever. When you have $100 million and that's not bothering you to buy something with,
oh my God.
You know what I mean, though? There's people in crypto that have stupid amounts of crypto.
Like Godwell, yeah.
They have stupid amounts of crypto.
And you know how they got there? You know how Godwell did it? He bought Ethereum on their pre-launch. He sacrificed for ETH back in the day.
Disgusting.
So everybody who's sacked big for Pulse Chain, you're going to be a new Godwell in a couple of years.
For some random ass shit in like a random ass community that starts off and is good and it's actually DeFi, and then it's going to spread like absolute nuclear wildfire.
And then one of the keys is a fiat on ramp.
Yes.
If a Coinbase or a Gemini, if any of those dudes pick up Pulse Chain and give us a fiat on ramp, game over. Like Ethereum's dead and Pulse Chain is going to be king. I guarantee it. Like
so that's what I wanted to ask you about. You just said Ethereum's dead, right? So
dead to me.
We talk about if there's an adoption curve. So like you look at any technology, they always follow an S curve for an adoption. If you think that the people at crypto.com have like more insight and better data, and you look at their annual report of the state of the nation for crypto, we're at around 3.75% of global users in crypto as a whole, which is, if you look at traditional S curves, right around the 2.5% mark, shit just starts to go like up and to the right in terms of adoption in there. So you had mentioned Ethereum dying, right? Well, dead to you, right? I don't know if you were just metaphorically saying it, but do you see that if Pulse X or Pulse gets listed on, and which it probably would,
it will.
I hope so. We're not sure. It depends. Maybe one of those guys sacked. Yeah, like
they had
we
to
don't know.
Love, dude. They're not stupid.
It's possible. And then if Circle, the guys who make US dollar coin, if they accept Pulse Chain, because they're doing AVAX and other shit chains, why not Pulse Chain? We're even better. So then it's game over for real stable coins that are like redeemable stable coins.
USDC, the Euro coin, they're making moves right now. They're making heavy moves to just be the standard, and they're saying screw it, what legislation is going to come out, because they know directly that when they do the UE coin that they're going to be having backlash on that, and they're just basically taking it, and that's pretty hardcore.
I think they have to partner with a European bank, so they're blessed now. These guys they're blessed. They're in like Flint. I mean, they're backed by J.P. Morgan, so U.S. dollar coin is the United States' central bank digital currency. Just nobody knows it yet, but it already is.
And they're going to be that for it seems
they can do it.
I saw this yesterday. Circle could do that for the world. They could be the quasi-Fed for the global.
They're doing it. They just fucking did it.
Yeah,
like
they did it.
We literally covered it yesterday.
Euro.
It seems like little news, and it is because you just can't extrapolate it. But it's like, no, it's not, because
you're ahead of the curve. Nobody else knows.
Australia's next, right? And then certain countries in Asia are next, right? Like it's gonna
no one's leaving Australia, so they're gonna need a good stable coin to interact with on their PC.
They're locked in their basements.
Real quick, I'm gonna let Sam ask some more questions, but I'm gonna go before we wrap up in about 15 minutes. This has been the best show that I've had in like a week or so, for sure, because the attitude you bring on is always good, fresh, positive, no negative. That's what we do here. We don't feel I don't feel any negative pressure, because we have so much info, dude. Even if we all started from zero and we had it'd be like, okay, God, thank God I know all this shit. Let's, that's good as a man. That feels great.
Yeah. Even if you wiped out my portfolio right now and zeroed me out, just knowing what I know that Pulse Chain's coming, I'll be fine, because I'm at a dollar cost average every dollar I have when it comes out. Man, I'll remortgage my house and buy it. I swear. Like,
put a mask
I'm not scared.
and just ask for money, for real. Like, I'll start doing whatever, because you need so little. You need so little. Everyone that has a story in Hex, it's usually those guys that didn't have that much to lose at the time, but they cared about that bag. It wasn't like, it dropped 80%. No, they didn't have enough to just sell it off right away. Like a lot of people maybe did. They fought all the way through it. They saw it all the way through. It's pretty crazy. The comments are going absolutely nuts today. Dave D, White Rice. Guys, if you have any questions, technical questions for him, please, I'll read them in 1 second. I'm going to post the link one more time, guys, real quick. I'm going to post the link and just share it out. If you have not already, make sure you're hitting that like button, hitting the subscribe button, sharing this to everyone you know. We're live every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern, guys. Paste, send, boom.
And you can check out some links down below, too, if you want to follow along on other social media like Instagram or Twitter. And we'll have Bullish actually drop the link for David's Twitter if you want to follow the #1 validator on the testnet for Pulse Chain. Go check it out, because you want to understand what's going on with the #1 person there. You should probably follow David. Just saying.
Yeah, follow David.
Yep. And I will put my updates there. Yeah, that's where I'll talk all
notifications
the you want
on.
the latest and greatest. Yep.
So RH Max, real quick. He's our boy here on the chat. We love RH Max.
Yeah, man.
I saw your video with him. Good to see him. He's very technical, which we love. More technical guys are better. We need more technical guys that are willing to be on camera and talk. If you had a launch button in front of you to push, would you push it now, later in the bear market? And advantages and disadvantages of each scenario. I would wait. If I knew it when the bottom of the bear market was, I would wait. But you go ahead, David, because you have way more insight on that.
I mean, I would agree with you if you know when the bottom is.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to do. I mean, Richard can do it. He's probably the only one, right? Exactly. He's the only guy who can call tops and bottoms perfectly. So
is that because he that's what I think. I'm to the point where I think that he made the bottom and he just wanted to spare some lives. I mean, made the top and he just wanted to spare some lives, so he sent the tweet out.
He's not dumb. Maybe he did get all that 69K Bitcoin, bro. Maybe, dude. And then, if
it's 11K on the day and it goes up, I swear to God, there's not a chance in hell that he did not do that buy, hit the buy button on that day. I swear.
Hey,
what do you think of waiting for, if 11K does come and launching at the pit?
Yeah, in theory that would be beneficial, because if all the cash has flowed out that's going to, and we're at the bottom, and then Pulse Chain comes out and then crypto just starts growing, yeah, that's good for Pulse Chain. It is good. If I knew the exact bottom, yes, I'd wait for that. On a personal level, if I had the button to launch right now and push that button, would I? Probably. Yeah. Just out of personal, yes, I would push that shiny red button to launch Pulse Chain right now, because I don't care about the bottom personally. I said, just get the damn thing out. Let's get it going. Let's get it rocking.
And he
Let's
might
launch,
think that
you know?
too, but Richard might think that too. It might just be worth it to get it moving while we're low. Maybe fix some bugs, Sam. Maybe have more time, Sam, to like
But what do you,
adjust.
if you have more context? Both of you guys have more context than Richard than I do, and at least Jim Rat says that Richard is a good marketer, right? So if you believe that he's a good marketer and wants to continue doing like marketing or at least have a big impact in the system, think about the PR, right? Think about the story somebody could tell in 2 years, 18 months, 6 years, whatever it is. Be like, yeah, bro, I launched at the depths of the market. Who the fuck? I mean, if you watch any of fucking Archer's shit, like he loves repeating himself on like this kind of stuff perpetually. And that would be literally his like calling for the next 6 years as it goes through and just is like, yeah, bro, everybody else is dying out here and I launched a new project and now it's, well, you know what I mean? Like if you believe he's really good at marketing and if you think, you know what I mean? I could just see that happening. I don't have the context like both of you guys do, but I could see that playing out, you know, potentially.
He has context that we probably both don't have too.
Well, I'll even admit, even my context, I don't know much.
Me
I'm
either.
in a private dev group for the Pulse chain. It's quiet in Telegram. Like they don't update there much. A lot of the stuff that's worked on by the paid devs, it's all behind the scenes. Like there's a GitLab that's like private that we can't see from the public one. So I really don't even know what's going on behind the curtains. Like the guys who are working on it, like the doors closed in the garage. All you hear is like ratchets going off and they're building the Pulse chain in the factory. But like I'm outside the gate, like let me in.
There was another question here. They were asking, what I don't remember who asked the question,
What was
somebody
the
was
question?
asking.
I'll find
Somebody
it.
was asking, what is the most interesting project that you see launching on Pulse Chain? Not Pulse X or Hex. If you
And
were
what are
like,
you
hey,
excited about too, in
Yeah.
addition to that? But what is maybe something that you have a little more faith in than others?
Oh, wow. All right.
And you don't have to like strong endorse anything, but like maybe
we're not. Yeah.
That's an interesting question. Well, most of the projects that are sort of in our ecosystem that are being talked about they have potential. Like Liquid Loans has potential. Should be good, right? Should be just like Liquidity, but on Pulse Chain. So that's awesome. We'll have like a stable coin. FreePulse.io. Victor and Felix, who've kind of got a faucet, so you can just go there every hour and you just click the button and get free Pulse Chain, right, for free, no strings attached. And then they also have mini games and like casino, basically, and that's how they generate their revenue to pay for the faucet.
I
Makes
love
sense.
the games.
And like those prediction games are my favorite.
So
I
fun.
crushed them on the test net. I was the number one better. I bet the most Pulse and I won almost every time. And I love it. I made so much freaking money.
He's arming Pulso. No, I'm just
Is
kidding.
that what's like on Pancake?
I don't know if
They have a
prediction.
bet prediction thing where you can kind of like bet. It's on beta. I just saw it the other day, where you get into Pancake and you can bet like back and forth and every like 3 minutes or something.
Yeah, it's similar. Yeah, I spend a lot of time on there.
Oh, cool. I love that. Prediction markets. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
tell
that
us
because you
about
know what's going to
Pulse.
happen.
So you like the faucet thought? You like that? The faucet, is that something that they're just going to keep up for as long as they want?
I think forever. Yeah, those guys sacked big, so they'll probably just give out free Pulse forever. I mean, because the lowest roll is like you get one Pulse every hour. Dude, those guys sacked they probably have billions of Pulse. Like they'll literally never run out ever. So like, it's a faucet forever, and that helps little people too. You know, like I'm teaching my kids, just click that button every couple hours, get some free money. Because when you're older, those pulses you get, man, they may be worth a lot more later. So even clicking that faucet, it's worth it. But so those are cool. Fiat, which is kind of like the Aave fork, that should be interesting. And then even that Pulse Speak, which is a fork of Augur, which is also another.
I gotta add this to my list.
I've seen it. I have seen it, but I haven't looked it up yet.
Yeah, so it's called PLS Speak, and it's a fork of Augur, AUGUR, on Ethereum. It's also a prediction market. It's just gambling on who's going to win this sports game, who's going to be the next president. It's just random questions, and you gamble on them. But they're called prediction markets. And what's cool about prediction markets is sometimes the markets, they tell you the future. Because if you're like, hey, who's going to be the next president, and pick 2 candidates, and like theoretically, the subconscious of the market will tell you the answer ahead of time. So it's pretty cool shit.
It's like
can you pick markets?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then you can pick whatever kind of market, whatever question in that category, and then you bet on either side, I think, and then you can even sell your bets and positions.
Oh,
It's complicated. Yeah,
There's-
they're like
there's-
calls and sells.
There's a market that does that now. I don't remember the name of it, but it's currently live where they have things and you can ask, hey, when, and interesting too, because people have to put money in. So you, like you said, if you kind of get maybe an essence or like a heartbeat of what the collective that are betting on personally believe about the future. And a lot of the times it tends to be accurate. Not all the time, but if you see a 60-40, then it's probably going to be accurate. If you see a 49.48 versus a 52.2, you're like, okay, market doesn't really know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
It's super interesting. Oh, that's so you you like propose questions or
that's it. I don't know.
Because that would be really good if you could propose questions
and then they get in there. That would be sweet, because I think the way it works today, the owners just sort of do it. But that would be great if you had the coins. You can make your own question. People vote on if they want that question to be
like
on the
Reddit
list.
moves up, and then people bet on it because you could answer some stupid, really cool questions collectively.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what Pulse Speak wants to be. Yep,
that would be dope.
Now, there's only one problem. Here's a problem though: is Chainlink. You've heard of Chainlink on Ethereum?
I have, but please give me context because I know nothing about it.
Yeah. So Chainlink, they have a coin, but what they really do is they run oracles. They run other servers that look at like the prices of things, or they're servers that reach out of the blockchain to find the answer. Because like, let's say me and you were gambling on Pulse Speak, like, hey, is Hex going to go up next week? Yes or no? And then the server has to find the answer
from somewhere
for the question.
Okay,
Exactly.
Okay.
So in order for Liquid Loans, Pulse Speak, and Fiat to work, the guys from Chainlink, they need to support the Pulse chain. They gotta make a copy of all their oracles, and they need to do it for Pulse chain. So I'm really, really hopeful Chainlink as like their team. I want the Chainlink team to support Pulse chain. That'll be huge. If they don't, then all these projects like Liquid Loans and Fiat and those guys, they have to make their own Oracle servers, which is a pain in the ass because Chainlink already did it too. So I hope that our community and the Hexicans and the Pulsicans, you need to annoy the hell out of Chainlink. And the guys who own it, like the actual devs at Chainlink, like message them and be like, please come to Pulse Chain. Please come to Pulse Chain. That's what we need for a lot of this stuff to work.
We can get that going on this show.
Yeah. Because if we don't get that, then like a lot of the shit we want, it won't work, sadly.
Oh, so don't the people on those teams like Fiat, the Pulse Speak, Liquid Loans, right? They're going to have to. You would think that has to be brought in from somewhere.
Well, ask them. If you ask them,
no, I will.
They say, "Hey, we need Chainlink to work." That's one of the requirements for a lot of these projects is Chainlink has to function, or they got to build their own oracles.
Because is there a way to just build in like a data feed that you can pull from, and pull the average of 4 different exchanges or something, or like,
yeah. And
so I'm thinking Pulse, right? So you're like, okay, Liquid Loans, they need the price of Pulse to be able to. That has to be part of the equation, right, for their liquidations and shit.
And Liquid Loans, I think they're just going to use Pulse X exchange in the beginning. They're just going to call that price, and that's it, which is fine. That works. Okay. That's cool.
Okay, but it's definitely going to be more volatile then because you got one data, right? I would think
you could be. If the prices are swinging, then there's going to be volatility in Liquid Loans, and prices will be swinging.
I was having a wet dream the other day, and I was like, we launch at the bear market depths, and sorry, too much.
You're having a wet dream. I know.
So we launch at the bottom of the bear market, and we also have liquidity pulled out, so we have another 90% drop there. And I was like, oh, that's exactly what I want to happen.
And somehow I beat the hacker to some of the Pulse that I sacrificed. And then
you'll do it. You'll do it.
I probably do.
You got that. You got that.
He's a bitch.
You'll be there. Yeah, because
He's got 150 million accounts to worry about that he's stealing from.
He's probably stealing. Yeah, exactly. He's
that's
stealing
I know, but I'm just playing. So that's a good place to end the show. But like, we got to do this again soon.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is great.
This is fun.
Thank you. I enjoyed your insight, and
thanks for having me on.
There's only certain people that I can have on the show, and they have to know what's going on, because that's all we want to really know. We just want to know what's going on.
The truth, yeah. We all want the truth.
I just want to know what's going on. I don't care about who's selling what, really. Like, I kind of stay away from that more.
Yeah,
it's more about people make money in a million different ways, but it's more about like who knows the details about what they're talking about. That's how we kind of decipher through stuff. And obviously, King Feeder, Feed the Pulse, all the stuff. Thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything that you want to promote? Like, is there anything that you like? I'll pull your Twitter up and post it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, Twitter. I've got a YouTube. I only post technical tutorials on my YouTube when something new comes out. So like Hedron, I did a video on how to claim for stake a wrap, which is kind of complicated. I like doing complicated videos to teach people how to do it, right? Once Pulse Chain comes out, I'll have more videos on nodes, validators, all that stuff. But I'm waiting till mainnet because things will change till testnet, right? But honestly, all I gotta say is, everybody try the testnet. If you want to start learning now, go ahead. And if you'd vote for me, I'd be flattered. Try out some test pulse and try voting and get ready now, because you got time to prepare. And then when Pulse Chain comes out, you'll know how to use everything, and you'll already be trained and ready to go and ready to rock. So try out all the testnet stuff now is my biggest advice to everybody. Get ready.
Get ready and have some USDC ready. Make sure you're making money if you can. And you don't need much in this market, but just make sure you have something. Like I tell people $1,000 in USDC will go a long way when something goes on, a big dip. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a lot, guys. I don't care who you are.
I'll change your life.
Bums on the street that can make $1,000, guys. So seriously, it changed your life forever. Gunther came on here and said he did a $750 buy that ended up being roughly $4 million at the top. Or something like this,
he spent like $237 at the on the day he bought the lowest point you could possibly buy an X, and with the interest and where it went up to some like 237 or 276 or something.
But that was at the current moment, and we were down like 95%. So he was like showing the numbers. But guys, just remember, it doesn't matter the amount. It matters if you buy it and if you don't sell it. If you sell it, it's not there anymore. And if it goes 1,100% up, you're priced out.
Yep.
But that's it. That's the game right there. Time in the market beats time in the market. Top 5 episodes, Crypto Gains Club. Heard it here first, guys. This has been amazing. We're coming at you heavy, heavy, heavy every single day. David, if you ever have something that you want to present to everybody and you don't feel like doing an episode, you come on here whenever you want. And
appreciate it. Thanks.
Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. All our links are below. If you want to donate, there's an ETH address below. If you want to donate to Sam, there's an ETH address below. If you want to do whatever, just click all the buttons, guys. Please my favorite is when you share the content. That's my favorite. And when you subscribe. So guys, have a wonderful day. David, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you.
I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun ride, man. DeFi proof.
Fuck a lot.
Whoops.
I'm a bitch. Don't press it.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hex and I'm making a stake. Got me some hedron, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that just in case. Jim ready to send me to show you the way. DeFi Pro, Crypto in the morning.